Okay, so good morning, everyone. This is the continuation of our next chapter for Job 11, rock deformation. So, in the previous lecture, we've discussed metamorphism, metamorphic rocks that are product of metamorphism, etc. And one of the highlights, I think, of that, or one of the highlights of metamorphic events or metamorphism, is that they are characterized or they are related to rock deformation. So for example, remember the full formation of foliation in metamorphic rocks, wherein you have devatoric stress pushing or basically compressing the rocks in one direction, and as a function of that, deforming the rock. So this rock deformation can be actually observed across different scales. So for the largest of scales, for example, this is a Google Earth map showing yung distribution ng countries, geopolitical countries, or political boundaries rather, ng Iran, Afghanistan. Afghanistan would be somewhere like this. Pakistan is somewhere like this, and then Indian Peninsula is here. Anyway, yung point nito is that if you simply look at yung Google Earth image nito, you can clearly see layers of rocks like this one, or layers of mountains pala. So subparallel mountains, which is actually the product of a rock deformation, as can be seen here. So this is a schematic lang. Imagine being able to slice through these mountains from the Indian Peninsula going to Pakistan or from Iran going to Afghanistan. And what you will see would be folds or rock units that are uh, variably deformed. And this deformation of rocks yung mas pagtutuunan natin ng pansin for today. So, of course, from the most largest of scale to mountain level scale, and then you can also see this in the rock level scale, sa hand specimen or even under the microscope. Okay, so rock deformation, we'll discuss about the types of the rock deformation, what is stress versus strain, and structures that are products of either ductile or brittle. And then finally, active faults in the Philippines. Okay, so rock deformation. This is deformation is any change in the original shape, size, or orientation of a rock. Take note na stress is actually the force that is applied over an area. So this may or may not be equal in all directions and therefore resulting to the product which is strain. So when you are actually, for example, academically, ang dami niyo ginagawa, you're not actually stressed. Your face is strained. It shows yung deformation because of stress. Okay, so yun yung distinction. Stress is the force, strain is the product of that force. Okay, so this rock deformation, as highlighted in this uh, map and this schematic representation, is actually a product of tectonic events, as we've seen or as we've learned in the previous chapters. So rock deformation is a product or is the direct effect of movement of Earth's tectonic plates, which create stress and therefore resulting to rock deformations, to deformation of rocks. For example, shown here are these highly folded. I hope you can see clearly. There's actually a person for scale just for you to realize kung gaano kalalaki itong layers of sedimentary rocks that is being represented here. And what I want you to note is that these are actually limestones, which means that they once represented yung ating coastal environment or marine environment. And now it's actually hundreds of meters above sea level. So ano kaya yung ano yung process na nag-lead for such marine lithologies to be emplaced on land hundreds of meters above sea level as they are now? So that is, of course, rock deformation. And you can see that clearly in the rocks. You can see here this folding of the rocks. Yan. So this is the product of rock deformation. Or this strain that we see is a product of rock deformation. Okay, so the ways in which rocks deforms are varied, usually depending on the rock mass itself. So kunwari yung nature of stress applied, yung tigas ng bato in the first place, is it able to deform in an elastic manner in which small deformation, in which the rocks will be able to go back to its original shape, or will they be ductile or brittle? Ductile is of course mas flowy yung deformation, so that although permanent in deformation, you don't see breaks in the rock. What you see is folds, as shown before. Brittle deformation, on the other hand, permanent din yung effect, but the structure that we see are faults, fractures, breaks in the rocks, basically. Okay, so this stress versus strain diagram shows us when a deformation is still elastic. It's usually accompanied. It usually or elastic deformation usually accompanies small amounts of stress and therefore relatively small amounts of strain. Okay, so if, however, the stress is also is if the amount of stress is much higher and therefore the amount of strain is uh, also much higher and so it surpasses yung tinatawag nating elastic limit. So anything above the elastic limit is already permanent deformation. So this is the permanent deformation. Take note na from this point to this point to the elastic limit, it takes a significant amount of stress to cause the significant amount of strain, but still it's elastic, which means as soon as the stress is released, it can actually go back to the original structure, to the original um, shape ng bato. But beyond the elastic limit, all deformations are permanent. First, it encounters ductile deformation, and take note that that the height of the amount of stress needed for the rock to encounter to from the rock for the rock to experience ductile deformation into brittle deformation, marked here by the fracturing, is actually very small. Which means na for if you apply a stress for some time, everything will be elastic. But if na-reach na yung elastic limit, kahit na konting addition pa ng stress, kahit konting stress pa na malagay, mag-snap siya and everything will therefore become permanent deformation na. Okay? First starting off with ductile deformation, but eventually resulting to brittle deformation. Okay? Yan. So, ito yung part na yan. Ano pa? Bukod sa amount of stress and sa rock characteristics itself, yung amount of application of stress is also an important thing. What do I mean by that? If you have a chalk, for example, na mahaba, if you apply a stress to it, magbe-break siya quickly. But theoretically speaking, if you very slowly deform it over a span of decades or centuries, you can actually bend the chalk, something as soft as chalk, so that it starts resulting or the product will be ductile deformation instead of brittle deformation. So yung amount or yung rate, hindi pala amount, yung rate at which we apply the stress to the rock is also a function or is also also affects whether the deformation that we will see is ductile or brittle. Yeah. So, for example, as you can see from here, yung layers ng limestone na nandito sa picture na to, they are folded, which means they experience ductile deformation. So these rocks are of course naturally brittle. These are soft. These are relatively hard materials. So you don't if you deform it, if you push it, usually you will experience or they will exhibit faults or breaks in the rock. Okay, but if the stress is applied over centuries, thousands of years, over the geologic timescale, this deformation can actually become more brittle or more ductile rather than brittle. Okay, yeah. So again, stress is the force acting on the body, and it may not be applied uniformly in all directions. There are three types of stress: compressional, tensional, and shear. Compressional is like this one, so it's pushing against each other, so you result with folds like this. Next is tensional. Tension is pulling apart yung stress, so like this, and you end up with stretching of the rocks, like so. And then finally, shear stress is like this. So if one stress is applied, is going this way, and the other is going this way, so you end up with a sheared rock. So it results in slippage and translation of rock particles. Okay, the product of stress is of course strain, which is again the change in size, shape, or orientation of the rock. This is, for example, a typical cylinder to used to measure the strength of materials, elastic strength of materials. So what happens here is that you subject the rock to compressional forces from here and on here until eventually they break like so. So as you can see from here, this is this is ductile deformation. The rocks basically just bulge on the sides. Yung rock particles are basically compressed dito sa gitna. But eventually, the rock starts to slip and it results to a brittle strain. So whenever we see, or when what we see here is a fracture, but this is actually not just a line, but rather a plane. What do I mean by that? Well, if we take out this part of the rock slab, what we will see is basically a fault plane. Okay? So what we have is a tilted plane representing kung saan nag-slip yung rocks natin. And yung surface na yon, we can describe that plane through its or using its strike and dip. Okay? Medyo mahaba tong description dito, pero simple, ikwento ko lang kung ano ibig sabihin niya. Okay. Imagine this is one of the fault kanina. Ito yung fault plane, for example, na na-form dito sa rock na to. Yan, because of the faulting, okay? So any plane that we have, yan, nakatilt siya pa ganito, it can be described in two directions. First, saang direction siya nakatilt? Okay? So for us to find out that out, imagine a horizontal plane intersecting yung ating tilted plane, okay? Like so. And we can measure yung direction na to with respect to the magnetic north. So kunwari ito yung north, okay? Nakaturo sa inyo yung north. And yung plane ko is tilted this way. So it's tilted towards the northwest direction, di ba? So northwest direction, itong orientation nung ating plane. And we call that the strike. You can think of it as either going towards the northwest or going towards the southeast. But by convention, we measure the strike or we measure the direction with respect to north. Okay? Therefore, ang sasabihin natin, the plane strikes northwest, specific degrees, north 20 west, for example. So what that basically means is that yung aking plane in question is tilted kung dyan yung north papunta sa inyo, it's tilted papunta sa northwest direction. So dito siya nakatilt. Okay? What if dito naman siya nakatilt? Pag ganyan yung tilt ng plane. Kung ito yung north, kung north is papunta sa inyo, tapos parallel siya, pag ganyan, then the plane is just simply tilted towards the north. Okay? Note na at this time, ang minimeasure pa lang natin is yung orientation ng plane. Okay? Saan siya nakatilt? That is strike. The next is the deep angle. Sa deep angle naman, describes kung saan siya nakatilt and by how much. Okay? So, sabi natin yung strike, it's directed towards sa inyo. So, north, for example, it's tilted northwards and it dips. So, oriented north-south siya, di ba? But this orientation, north-south orientation, can be true whether the plane is pointing towards the west or pointing towards the east. Notice na yung direction ng strike, whether I put my hands like this or I put my hands like this, the strike is actually going to you pa rin. Okay? Regardless on whether it's like this or like this. And therefore, we have to describe one more thing, saan siya nakadip. Okay? Saan siya naka-tilt. Okay? So, kung saan siya naka-tilt, yun yung kanyang dip direction. So, for example, if my hand is like this, and again, north is going towards you, okay? So, this is tilted papunta sa east. Okay? So, it's north striking, dipping to the east. Diba? On the other hand, kapag ganito naman siya, it's also north striking, but this time, dipping to the west. Okay? So, paulit-ulit na lang pause and unpause and rewind yun lang if hindi malinaw. And then finally, the last number that we have, or the last thing that we have to note is by how much? By how much is it tilted? So for example, this is approximately 30 degrees. This is approximately 50 degrees. So when we describe the plane, we just say north striking 50 degrees to the west. O kaya north striking 50 degrees to the east. Okay? Something like that. So, ito yung deep angle, ito yung strike niya. And finally, yung dip direction. Saan siya nakadip? So, yun yung sinasabi dito. Basahin, yan. So, a strike is it's the degrees east of north of the line formed by the intersection of a layer interface or bedding plane with a horizontal. Kaya siya magulo, but it's basically describing saang direction oriented yung plane natin. Okay? Yung palm, yung plane natin in question. With respect to the north. And then, the dip, you have to measure two things. Saan siya nakatilt? So, dito siya nakatilt or dito siya nakatilt. Okay? And then, by how much? Ano yung amount ng tilt niya to begin with? Okay? Yan. So, if we have, for example, compressional stress, this causes the rocks to deform in a series of wrinkles or folds. This can actually be formed from this can be a few inches in scale or the hundreds of kilometers across. As we've seen dun sa beginning ng slide ko nga, this could be as big as mountains, or this could actually be microscopic in scale, or big enough na makikita mo siya sa satellite. Okay? So, if we continue on compressing this one, ito yung pinapakita ko rin kanina, you can see that from horizontal layers like this, if we increase the compression, they will slowly tilt like so. And using the concept now that you've learned, yung strike and dip angle, we can also discuss or we can also see kung ano yung amount ng deformation relatively. So for example, this is a more gentle dipping directions. But once you go here, once you look at this very intense deformation, first you start seeing faults or breaks in the rocks like this one, and you also see very tilted beds like this one. Okay, so yeah. So higher tilt suggesting a higher amount of stress. Okay, so folds. So we've discussed the fold. These are the different parts of the fold. Axial plane, fold axis, and limbs. Axial plane is basically yung kung saan yung parang kung mayroon kang fold like this, yung points of highest curvature niya, yan. So ito yung points of highest curvature niya. Imagine a plane going through through that maximum curvature, either ganyan siya or pag ganito siya, okay, dito. So kung saan man yung ano yung orientation ng axis na yon, ng plane na yon pala, ng plane na yon, and that's the axial planes. For example, here, if we try to draw saan yung axial plane, it's just going to be this plane na nagka-cut across ng maximum curvature ng ating folded beds. Or you can do that also for the synclines. The anticlines, siya yung letter A's. Okay? Ito yung syncline naman. So anticlines are letter A's, siya yung pataas. And then synclines yung paganyan, pababa. Okay? So this would be an anticline, and this would be a syncline. Anticline, syncline. Okay? Sure. So, anticline, syncline, and then axial plane, yun nga, yung plane na nagpapakita ng maximum curvature ng folds natin. Or, in some cases, this is also the imaginary surface that divides the fold as symmetrically as possible, one limb on each side. So your limbs is yung corresponding two sides of an anticline, syncline. And then your fold axis is the line made by the intersection of the axial plane with the plane in question. So ito yung fold axis natin. Yan, yung line na yan. Okay? Yan lang naman siya. Sorry, some technicalities that you have to memorize for the exam. Yan. So, geologically speaking, of course, we always don't see such naturally folds like this. What we can use is actually yung strike and dip direction of the beds. So, for example, a geologist, as he was walking up the mountains from traverses A to B or B to A, he notices that the beds are tilted. First, they were tilted this way, pababa dito sa east side. And then as he goes up further, the trail tilted to the east, tilted to the east, tilted to the east. And then eventually, pagdating niya dito sa may point na to, nakita niya na baliktad na yung tilt. Okay? Nakatilt na siya papunta dito. So in map view, it would look something like this. First, it was the layers of rocks were tilted like so. papunta dito. So, ibig sabihin, tilted to the east. And then eventually, bigla naging tilted to the west. But take note that the strike never changed. Okay? So, ito yung nakikita ng geologists, but in reality, based on this data, we can infer na yung structure is more like this. Yan. So, meron kang fold kahit na hindi kita yung ating kahit na hindi nakita yung ating actual folds. Okay? Yan. These are more types of folds. We won't go into much detail about it, but these are the different types of folds. So you have here again, symmetrical folds is if you have the actual plane and you have um, either side being symmetrical to one another, meaning hindi siya kagaya nitong asymmetrical folds in which yung tilt ng beds natin to one side or yung one limb natin is actually shorter than another limb, like this one. This is para siyang you can say that this is symmetrical folds, but notice that when we look at it closely, actually yung actual plane natin is too tilted so that if we imagine yung rocks natin dito, ano eh, papagulo lang to eh. Pero sobrang tilted na siya so that it's now referred to as an overturned fold. Bakit siya nagmumukhang overturned or bakit siya overturned? Kasi naturally, I mean, ideally, if you, for example, if you are able to sample at different depths, di ba? In this syncline. So in this syncline, what you will encounter is the youngest layer, followed by the relatively older, and then oldest layer. But if you do that here, if we drill through this straight line papunta dito, first you'll encounter younger, and then you'll encounter older, sorry, mali, dito pala dapat. If we, for example, ito, if we, for example, drill, sorry, if we, for example, drill like so, yan. So if we follow this one, for example, first you'll encounter younger, and then older, older, and then babalik siya sa younger, and then older na naman. So you get that overturned na idea. So baliktad siya na hindi siya yung sequence na we would expect, which is youngest first and then eventually magiging older. Pag overturned na yung folds, bumabaliktad siya actually. There will be a point na yung older natin, yung nasa taas, and yung younger units natin, yung mas nasa ilalim. Okay? Yan. So these are other types of folds. Monocline kapag isang mono, meaning one. So isang fold lang siya. Actually, this is not necessarily a fold that is related to folding. This could actually be a fault. Yan. Pwede itong may fault dito. So you will see later. And na nag-cause nitong parang bump, kumbaga dito. And then this is an anticline with letter A, syncline, which is a sink, and then overturned anticline and syncline like so. Yeah, so these are some pictures showing you the different scales of deformation. They can be as big as large outcrops like this, or pwede rin siya smaller, even microscopic level. Yeah, or even a microscopic level. So that's ductile deformation. What about brittle deformation? So brittle deformation, the main product are fractures or breaks in the rocks, okay? These fractures or breaks in the rocks can be systematic, meaning systematically repetitive, meaning paulit-ulit siya. So for example, gaya nito, paulit-ulit siya. And we call them joints. So these systematic breaks in the rocks are what we call joints. So they are generally occurring in groups with roughly parallel orientation or systematic repetition. Those are joints. Kapag wala naman siyang, pag hindi siya repetitive, isa lang siya, and mayroon kang nakikitang movement, okay? Hindi lang siya break in the rock, but meron kang signs na yung rocks mo ay nag-move along the plane of deformation, and then that now becomes a fault. Okay? Now, imagine, ito yung plane natin, ito yung fault natin. Imagine that this is our fault, okay? I remember our lesson a while ago, you can describe it in two ways. Based on its, when we describe a plane, we have to take note of two things. First is yung strike direction of the plane, saan siya naka-tilt, saan siya oriented with respect to the north. So for example, it's oriented papunta dyan, papunta sa inyo, kumbaga. And then so the strike, for example, is, kunwari lang, the strike is northwards. Okay? And then yung dip direction natin is tilted papunta sa left side, so that would be the west. So tilted towards the west. Okay? Now, if we have this plane, the motion can either be parallel to the strike, meaning ganyan yung motion niya. Okay, the blocks are moving like so, or the motion can actually be up or down, parallel to the dip. Okay, so if the motion is parallel to the strike, that's a strike slip fault. If the motion is parallel to the dip, ganyan, then that's a dip. That's a dip slip fault. Okay, so strike slip motion is horizontal. Dip slip motion is vertical. Combination of both, oblique slip. So meron kang oblique slip, meron kang motion horizontally and vertically. So that's a dip slip fault. Okay? Now, so meron ka lang two groups, strike slip, kaya dip slip. And then, even if you just use your hands, you can see that you can have two motions. First, if for example the fault is running paganyan, north-south, papunta sa inyo, use your hands like this, and then imagine you're sitting or you're standing on one of them. Okay, kunwari dito ka nakataya. And then yung left hand mo napunta closer to you. Okay, closer to the screen pala, closer to the screen. So if I am standing here, okay, ganyan siya originally, tapos yung other hand ko nag-move siya dito papunta sa inyo. So this block or this fault pala, itong fault sa pagitan natin, this fault basically is what we call a dextral fault or a right lateral fault, which means na yung movement puts the block, one of the blocks towards the right. Okay? So itong with my perspective or in my perspective, yung block na to move papunta sa right ko. Now baliktad naman. Let's say dito naman siya nakatayo. Okay? Siya nakatayo. Tapos dito ako nakatayo pala. Tapos ganun ulit yung motion napunta sa inyo. Notice na from my perspective, yung block na to also moves to the right. Okay? So that's a right lateral fault. Okay? Wherever you're standing, whether it's here or here, yung fault sa pagitan natin puts the other person or puts the other structure towards the right, and therefore that's a right lateral fault or a dextral fault. Okay? Next. What if the motion is baliktad? So, ganun ulit. Dito ako nakatayo, and then, first, ito naman yung nag-move papunta sa inyo. Okay? So, from my perspective, this block, my hand, my ring bearing hand, actually moved to the left. Di ba? Punta siya sa left. Punta siya sa, imagine, gawin niyo na lang siya with your hand so you can see clearly. Sorry. Mas madali ito sana kapag pagka in person. But anyway, napunta siya sa left. Okay? From my perspective here, standing here. But if we do the same, dito naman ako nakatayo. Okay? Dito ako nakatayo. And then, yung ganun ulit yung motion, the block like this. So, from my perspective, yung ring-bearing hand ko, from my perspective, this hand actually moved also to the left. So, that's a left lateral fault or a sinistral fault. So, ulit, left lateral, sinistral, right lateral, dextral. Okay? Yan. So, that is for the horizontal motion. Paano naman kapag vertical motion? Pag ganyan o pag ganyan. For this, mag-add muna tayo ng konti, additional concept muna tayo, yung concept ng footwall and hanging wall. This was used by miners. So imagine, American fault like this, tilted this way, okay? If you are the miner, you can stand, ba yan? Sorry, yan ako muna. Start, isa pa. Isa pa, ha? Yeah. So if you are the miner, you can stand dito, di ba? You can literally tumayo dito sa part na to ng wall, itong wall na to. And therefore, this is the footwall. You can stand very easily. Pero if you try to stand on the other wall, obviously you'll be upside down. You'll be hanging. So this is therefore the hanging wall. This is the hanging wall. And this is the foot wall. Okay? Napaka-creative, diba? So, if, ganun ulit, if, for example, dito ako nakatayo, okay? And this block, the hanging wall rises, okay? Umakyat yung hanging wall, then that is what we referred to as a reverse or thrust fault. Sorry, yung isa pala muna. Kung kunwari, imbis na sorry, kunwari dito ako nakatayo. O kunwari dito muna ako nakatayo ulit. Dito ako nakatayo. Okay, ako to. Tapos, from my perspective, yung hanging wall, nag-slide siya. Nag-slide siya pababa. Which is normal. Kasi you would expect na yung plane mo eh. So, since meron kang plane of weakness, yung block na to, hanging wall, will just slide pababa. That's a normal fault. Okay? Normal. Bumaba siya. That's a normal fault. And then, if it does the opposite, if instead yung hanging wall rises instead of falls, so pag nag-rise siya, then that's the reverse fault. Okay? So I hope that's clear. If yung if nag-slide lang yung hanging wall along the fault, that's a normal fault. But if it does the opposite, that's a reverse or thrust fault. Okay? And so, of course, these types of faults are related to the stress. If you have compressions like this, then we expect to see folds and also thrust or reverse faults like so. So imagine yung kanina kong scenario, ito yung football ko kasi I can stand here. But this one, if I try to standing up dito sa block na to, nakahang ako. And therefore, this is the hanging wall. So notice that this is the hanging wall. Instead of going down like in a normal fault, the other block went up, and therefore this is a reverse fault. This is a normal fault. And then this is a strike slip fault. Specifically, this is and if imagine standing here, and then imagine your neighbor standing here, kunwari, si square man, yan. Okay? So imagine ito yung neighbor mo. You can see that the neighbor is moving towards the right. So it's a dextral fault. But from the perspective of the neighbor, you're also moving to the right. Diba? So that's a dextral fault, strike slip fault. And as you can see from here, the type of stress that brings that about is shear stress. So compressional, tensional, and shear. Okay? And so ito yung some examples. Ito another right lateral. Yan. So, ito yung isang oblique view across the San Jacinto Valley, San Jacinto River. Can you see the fault? Yan. It's manifested actually by this alluvial fans here. Yan. So, naalala niyo yung kaninang monocline? Yan. So, these are actually, so imagine yung mountains natin and then biglang bumagsak bigla siya na-slice siya essentially of a fault. So, na-slice siya ng fault and specifically yung other block starts sliding down. So, kaya nagkaroon ng valley like this. So, this is a normal fault. Imagine niyo tong manipula. Anyway, yan. So, ito for example yung San Jacinto Valley na nakikita natin. And yung sudden drop na to, yung sudden drop, in the topography, originally same level sila, but because of the fault, bumagsak yung isang block, and that results to to the sudden formation of valley like this. So ito naman, what kind of fault do you see? Here you can see multiple faults. Okay, this is a fault, this is a fault. But if you follow yung layer na to, this rock, it went down. If you notice it went down. Diba? This is the foot wall. This is the hanging wall. The hanging wall went down. Therefore, this is a normal fall. Okay? Yes, Bandina. Sorry. Yan, ito naman, ano kayang fault ito? So this is these are rice paddies. You can see that the rice paddy here, so una, it's horizontal, so it's a strike slip, diba? The rice paddy moved towards the left. So this is a left lateral or a sinistral fault. Ito naman, you can see here this river, and it was translated towards the right. JK, bigyan mo naman siya ng food. Tam na yata si mother. Okay? So this is a right lateral fault. These are some pictures of the Philippine fault zone. So during the 1990 uh, earthquake, Dig earthquake, you can see here the rice paddies cut by this Philippine fault, and as you can see, the rice paddies were translated to the left. So this is a sinistral fault. You can see also this road cut by this fault. You can see the road being translated to the left. They can do that from this perspective or from the other perspective. The road basically was translated to the left. Okay, so ito naman, other examples. What fault is this? You still see here the, yeah, so you see here the, thanks JK, footwall, a hanging wall, and this is the footwall. And you can see that the layers, or the hanging wall rather, went down with respect to the footwall, and that is that therefore results to normal fault. Okay, another normal fault. Ito naman. Ito yung layers of rock natin. You can see here multiple faults. Yan. And you can see na ito yung bumaba na part. So, this is still the hanging wall. So, this is still normal fault. Ito yung, yan, this is a very nice picture of ano kaya sa tingin niyo? So, you can see here, ito yung fault natin. Sorry, na-miss ko. And yun yung play natin. You can see here that the footwall, that the footwall went down. Diba? So, the hanging wall went up, and therefore, this is a reverse fault. This is a normal fault, another normal fault, and then this is a good picture of a reverse fault. Ito kaya, ano nakikita ninyo? Okay? Use a line of tree for reference. This is actually another left lateral or strike slip fault. A left lateral or a sinistral fault. This is a normal fault. Yeah, so these are the different structures and the stress that results, or the stress that that affects them, or that results to this structure. So if you have compressional stress, you end up with faults, reverse faults. If you have tensional stress, you end up with stretching and thinning, as well as normal faults. And if you have shear, you can have like this, o kaya shear or strike slip faults. Okay, in the Philippines, we have faults with evidence that it's been moving for the past 10,000 years. So these are active faults. Yung mga in red are the active faults based on the map ng PBOX. And these are all the active faults of the Philippines. Hindi pa yan updated. You can see here that the faults that moved recently, hindi na nga recently, over the past 2 decades, were actually previously unmapped. Pero it's already present in the updated like so. So always use or always refer to the most updated maps. Always check kung kailan siya last na update. Okay? Now we'll tackle this more. But again, if you want to find out how close your hometown is to falls, at least those that are known so far, you can always go to Hazard Hunter PH. Okay, those actually involves already yung most recent mapped na active faults ng Philippines. Yeah, so this faults is of course a function of deformation. We have of course multiple strike slip, or we have multiple trenches, which is where we have subduction zones, and therefore meron kang compression from either side. And as a function of that, the whole Philippines is actually slowly deforming. Take note that this length shows about 1 centimeter per year movement, and you can see that most of this, the whole Philippines is essentially moving towards the west. So closer and closer dito sa papunta sa west po, sa direction ni. It's moving to the west, and because of that slow but steady the movement, it actually results in the formation of faults throughout the archipelago. One of which is, of course, yung Philippine Fault, whose segments have moved in the past. For example, 1990 earthquake, it moved yung kanyang northern Luzon. The segment moved and it caused widespread deformation and, of course, a magnitude 7.2 earthquake. Another fault na hindi related hindi directly related to the Philippine fault system is the Valley Fault system. So itong Valley Fault, ito yung closer sa atin. This is of course the Marikina River, and yung for reference, yung UP Diliman would be Cubao. So this is Cubao. I think somewhere tayo dito. Dito tayo banda. Ito lang ma-pinpoint niya exact. Yeah. So, but yeah, you can, kung gusto niyo tingnan, but you can just visit Hazard Hunter page nga to see kung saan yung pinaka or gaano tayo kalayo from the fault, from the West Valley Fault system. Yeah. Okay, so we'll learn more about earthquakes and faults in the next chapter on earthquakes. Okay, so yun muna. I'll record na lang, or I'll prepare a quiz by for sa Thursday na lang. Short quiz lang, 10 items. 10 items lang na quiz covering this one, rock deformation, metamorphism, and the earlier chapter on mass wasting. Okay? Okay.